Have you ever wondered how, in the movie Hook, Captain Hook knew everything about Peter, his kids, his life, where they were, how Peter treats his family, or that he's an alcoholic? Where do they get this information? Have you ever wondered that? What's up, guys? I'm J-Man, and let's talk about another favorite from the 90s, Steven Spielberg's Hook. Sadly, this movie really only appeals to the ones who grew up with it, because even at the time of its release, it got a very mixed reception. Even director Steven Spielberg himself admitted that he wasn't very happy with the film.
I want to see Hook again because I still don't like that movie, and I'm hoping someday I'll see it again and perhaps like some of it.
But those of us that did grow up with it, it's safe to say that it's a part of our childhoods forever and will arguably be the definitive Peter Pan and Captain Hook we all know and love. But there's always those lingering questions about the plot we never could figure out, especially since they have all this information about him and yet Hook himself doesn't even recognize him when he sees him.
Is it you, my great and worthy opponent? But it can't be.
Now before I start, I have to get one thing out of the way. I know that from a narrative standpoint, everything that goes on in Neverland is a direct reflection of what goes on in Peter's life. Hook is the representation of what Peter has become. His workaholic self is what's robbing his kids of their childhoods. He needs to learn to use his imagination and play with them, and of course, it's all just possibly a dream or hallucination brought on by alcohol. And if you want to learn more, here's an excellent video on the movie by Twin Perfect that I highly recommend you check out. Link is in the description below. But for those of us who want to take the movie a little more literally, let's discuss a possible theory. So how did they get this important information on Peter? Or Jack and Maggie for that matter? How do they know what his kids look like and not Peter himself? Well, I believe that Hook was not the one retrieving this information. It was actually Smee. See, here's how I figure. After Peter left Neverland to be with Moira, Hook actually sent Smee to spy on him, even retrieve some useful tools to use against him, such as records.
His medical history, I've even got his dental records.
And even...
Who took my baseball? That mean, scary man at the window stole it.
There's no scary man.
But he says he's a window washer.
That window washer could have actually been Smee in disguise, checking to see if they had returned to London so that they could make their move and kidnap the kids. This is all why Smee is the only one that recognizes Peter when he comes to Neverland. I would even go so far as to say that Smee had a hand in the kidnapping too. While Hook stole the kids, Smee used Hook's hook to do the markings on the walls, close the door on Liza, and leave the note with the dagger. Hook even appears to know all about Jack completely botching the baseball game as well as his dad not being there to see it.
Your father went to your sister's school play, did he not? Or did he go to your baseball game?
Is it possible that Smee was amongst the crowd somewhere at the game watching? Sure, he does inquire to Jack more about baseball later on, the whole horseback joke, but that might have been a distraction to keep Jack forgetting about his home. And to wrap it all up, this is why we see him at the very end of the film. Why does he appear to not recognize Peter, you might ask? Is it possible that maybe, just like Peter, he's forgotten about Neverland too? Maybe he got tired of being Hook's right-hand man and chose to forget himself. He does appear just before the final duel to attempt to ditch the place with all the treasure. Now, I know you may be thinking that there's a major hole in this theory, which is, how could they even get from Neverland to our world in the first place, and how would they even know where they live? Well, I believe there's two possible answers to that, both involving Tinkerbell. You see, Tink was clearly in love with Peter, but after Peter decided to stay with Moira, she was heartbroken. So she decided to do the unthinkable. She made a deal with Hook telling him where he was. It would make some sense since Tinkerbell was always known to be pretty jealous and conniving. Or the other reason could be that since Hook was furious about his hand, he would have done anything to find him, so he captured Tinkerbell and got her to spill everything about him.
I'm not Peter Pan. I'm just ordinary. I've got a sworn affidavit by G-Bell.
Both these possibilities could be the reason why Tink shows up to bring Peter back to Neverland to save his children after hearing that Hook and Smee had kidnapped them.
Oh my God, where are we going?
Save your children, of course.
How do you know about my kids?
Everybody knows.
And what about that heavy wind that picks up during the kidnapping? Well, this may sound a little more far-fetched, but I think the movie actually took a page out of the original Disney movie and used the flying ship. It does appear to show us 2 clues of it just before the door somehow telekinetically unlocks itself. Now you might be thinking, J-Man, this might all be good in theory, but it's still not really defined in the movie itself. Well, actually, that's kind of the point of it all. Everything that I've been saying is what I believe happened in the movie, and that's actually one of its main themes. To believe, to imagine, to pretend. Believe that an empty table is filled with delicious food. Believe that you can fly just by thinking a happy thought. Believe that you can sword fight a pirate if you were given a sword. Mostly, this movie is about living life to the fullest, but never let time steal away your childhood joy. So that's my theory on the movie Hook. Now what do you believe happened in the movie? Whatever it is, don't be shy, leave a reply. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the J-Man.